My twin sister and I were born identical, so much so that even our parents couldn't tell us apart. We leveraged our identical looks to operate in the entertainment industry as one person. She handled interviews, negotiations, and variety shows, while I took on the singing, dancing, rapping, and all the hard work. We lived a comfortable life. Before long, a mysterious big-shot investor wanted to invest in my sister. When I saw her return from the party, I stopped dancing, catching my breath. "How did the negotiations go?" I asked. She looked at me with a complex expression. "He said he wants the one who works so hard." I am Stella Chu and also Serena Chu. In front of the cameras, my sister and I are identical twins. Our height, weight, faces, even the moles at the corner of our eyes are exactly alike. So alike that even our parents find it hard to distinguish us. That's why, after my sister debuted and became famous, I became the other Serena Chu. Perhaps because our appearances were so similar, our personalities were polar opposites. My sister is smart, with high EQ and IQ, preferring quiet contemplation over physical activity. Thus, after her debut, she took on tasks like interviews, negotiations, and participating in variety shows. I, on the other hand, am straightforward and full of energy, so my sister packaged me as an idol excelling in singing, dancing, and rapping. We shone in different fields, becoming an all-around superstar in everyone's eyes. To retire early and enjoy our old age, this investment was crucial. We couldn't afford to make a single mistake. And so, my sister threw me into a popular domestic slow-paced reality show featuring veteran actors and countless commercial sponsors. Previously, even with my sister's status elevated by 2 more levels, she couldn't have even touched the threshold of this program. But money, after all, is power. I wondered which big shot was blind enough, or had such unique vision, to take an interest in me. Lost in thought, the car stopped. I jumped out decisively, intending to carry a suitcase in each hand. The staff member beside me reached out, then hesitated. I froze instantly. "Oh no." My sister maintains a cool image on stage, but sweet off stage. "Oh, it seems a little heavy. Can the cameraman help me a little?" I immediately feigned weakness, subtly putting down the suitcase I'd lifted 10 centimeters and gave the staff a shy smile. Luckily, I reacted in time. Otherwise, tomorrow my nickname, Clumsy Barrier, would be trending. I smoothed down the small white dress, specially chosen to enhance my delicate aura, and followed. The village was still in an economically underdeveloped state. After last night's rain, the dirt road became even harder to navigate. Wearing my white sneakers, I felt like I was walking on thin ice. The narrow path leading out of the village was too constricted for cars. Around the path were the villagers' homes, with large chained dogs in front and rolling mountains behind. People were born and raised here, generation after generation. I regretted my choice of footwear, wishing I hadn't worn pristine white shoes. A Golden Guard dog barked loudly in front of me. A man appeared. His skin was pale from year-round lack of sun exposure, but his eyes were exquisitely refined, pupils like jade, the epitome of a gentle, unworldly scholar. An incredibly handsome man, yet he felt utterly unfamiliar to me. He politely gestured to the microphone on his person. "Hello, I'm Ethan Gu, also a guest this season. I should really take you to meet Mr. Han and everyone else, but cough, cough asterisk." He couldn't help but turn his head and cough lightly, taking a deep breath before continuing. "But we don't have enough ingredients for lunch, so perhaps we too should head to the vegetable market first. Miss Chu, do you mind?" Of course, I couldn't say no. I hastily nodded in agreement, though inwardly I wondered, since when did the entertainment industry have such a character? Had I become outdated? No way, he was completely my type. There was no way I wouldn't have noticed him. Ethan walked beside me, coughing a few times along the way. "Do you have a cold?" I asked. He looked a little embarrassed. "This condition of mine is congenital, it's nothing." Ah, so he was a sickly beautiful man. A surge of pity welled up in my heart. On the way back, I proactively took the heavier bag from his hand. Ethan paused, a flicker of surprise quickly flashing in his eyes. He smiled at me, the corners of his eyes crinkling slightly. His pale face suddenly became more vivid, like an ink wash painting slowly coming to life, carrying an indescribable beauty. I was mesmerized by this smile, not noticing the faint blush on his ears. My first interactions with the seniors were actually quite harmonious. After all, they just chatted, and I only needed to sit quietly on the side, smiling shyly and nodding obediently, acting as a pretty backdrop. If I encountered something uncertain, I'd just play dumb. Amen, that's my philosophy of life. After filming a few episodes without incident, I happily bragged to my sister on WeChat. But then my smile faded, because the incoming guests, as soon as they walked through the door, looked all too familiar. One was Ivy Jiang, a top-tier young actress with many hit dramas, truly the nation's first love. The other was Victor Fu, who had been rapidly rising in popularity recently. Rumor had it he shared a surname with the owner of a top domestic conglomerate. Everyone called him the young prince. The former had played dirty tricks on my sister in a reality show, and the latter had pursued my sister before she even became famous. Such an entangled mess, revolving around Serena Chu, just crashed down on innocent me. Ivy smiled, greeting everyone in the room, then her gaze fell on me. "Hello, Serena, long time no see, do you miss me?" My attempt to subtly slip away froze. My sister's complaints echoed in my ears. "So annoying, that green tea bitch clearly knows I'm afraid of water. Your sister fought desperately for first place just to avoid being assigned to go diving. And what did that persistent hanger-on do? She clung tightly with both hands, eyes shut, and pulled some disgusting stunt on your sister." My sister had mimicked Ivy's voice, saying in a simpering tone, "Sister, I really want to go to the bottom of the sea to see. You're so kind, you surely won't refuse me, right? Please, sister." Isn't that woman sick? What did your sister do to deserve being grouped with her? Back then, I laughed maniacally, hitting the bed. But now I also wanted to ask, isn't that woman sick? As far as I knew, although Ivy's fan base was large after that show aired, quite a few netizens spoke up for my sister. In the end, Ivy's studio had to personally intervene to quell public opinion. In short, she and Serena weren't close enough to speak to each other in such a way. But you're grown up, you have to maintain appearances. I tried to emulate my sister's image as a delicate little flower, feigning surprise as I ran to help her with her luggage. "I missed you so much, Ivy. Why didn't you tell me you were coming? Last time I invited you out, you didn't even reply." Ivy's pretty face stiffened. "My phone is always with my assistant. Perhaps she didn't see it. I'll scold her later." She intimately linked arms with me, putting on a show of sisterly affection. I took the opportunity to drop her luggage, which I was still holding, then squinted and leaned closer to Victor on the other side. Of course, Ethan was the one welcoming them, but strictly speaking, Ethan wasn't part of the entertainment circle. I heard he was a senior friend Mr. Han had invited repeatedly. Victor, unaware of this, dismissed the unfamiliar Ethan and casually tossed his suitcase aside, surveying his surroundings like an emperor on tour. With such a terrible personality, yet many online still praised him for being sincere. My sister was right. This guy, as long as someone flattered him, thought he was the best in the world. Truly mediocre yet overconfident. But Ivy was clearly very interested in Victor. After only 3 minutes of acting with me, she made an excuse to leave and went to strike up a conversation with Victor. I pouted, pretending not to notice Victor's furtive glances. I stepped forward, pulling Ethan along. "Follow me." Ethan and I carried the guests' luggage upstairs together. Following us up was Pudding, the border collie owned by the hosts. With his adorable appearance and exceptional intelligence, he had attracted a huge fan base online, a true dog celebrity. I squatted down, affectionately stroking his ear. Thanks to my sister often dumping her Samoyed on me, I had quite a bit of experience with dogs. Since coming here, my relationship with Pudding had also become very good. Pudding was well-trained and understood a few fixed commands. I turned my back to the camera, covering my microphone, and quietly gave Pudding a specific command. The cameraman, begrudgingly advancing to film, was frozen in place by Ethan's indifferent gaze. I felt satisfied after doing my mischief and boldly led the way down the mountain. Sure enough, when everyone was preparing for dinner, the young prince's exasperated voice rang out from upstairs. "This dog, why did it pee on my suitcase?" I suppressed a laugh, feeding Pudding an extra sausage by Ethan's feet. Ethan, opposite me, unconsciously curved his lips too. What fault could a little dog have? He was just being very obedient. That young prince grumbled all evening. I didn't know if this guy was genuinely stupid or just thought his family's power was boundless. Facing so many seniors, he still maintained his arrogant young master demeanor. Even Mr. Han, renowned for his good temper in the industry, couldn't take it anymore. Some young people are still too impetuous. Come, Victor, drink some more lotus seed soup that Mr. Huang made to cool your temper. Victor crossed his legs, sneering arrogantly. Don't play the wise old man in front of me. Behind me is Starlight Entertainment, a height you people will never reach in your lifetime. If you want to lecture me, check your own weight first. I was startled, my chopsticks clattering down. Starlight Entertainment. Wasn't that the investor my sister said wanted to invest in asterisk me? Wait a minute, wasn't Victor the one who pursued my sister before? He knows we're twins then. Furthermore, the rumors online said his family was in real estate. Why is he suddenly talking about a top entertainment company? I wasn't the only one dumbfounded. Everyone present showed expressions of shock. Only Ethan remained calm, sipping his soup, carrying a distinctly serene air. This farce ended with Mr. Han leaving the table and Victor walking off with his hands in his pockets. The director, already on his second sweat-wiping towel, looked utterly distraught, daring not to offend either side. The other guests exchanged glances, full of unspoken thoughts, and also left. I was no exception. I only caught a glimpse of Ethan heading backstage, but I didn't have time to notice. I rushed back to my room and video called my sister. Her identical face appeared on the screen, a bubble tea straw in her mouth. I quickly recounted the day's events. There was a moment of silence on the other end. Sis, I said anxiously, didn't you say that big shot was an old man? How is he connected to Victor Fu now? Could it be him? My sister cut me off, her tone firm. No, it's not him. He's too shallow to cook up such a convoluted scheme. He probably just has some beneficial connection with Starlight. She rubbed her temples on the other end, seemingly recalling the days she was pestered. Anyway, stay away from him. Clinging to him is like clinging to something foul. Even after wiping it clean, the stench lingers. I knew my sister always had a knack for vivid descriptions. Suddenly, I felt like the whole room smelled, but at least my heart had eased. Thank goodness, thank goodness. If he found out about us being twins, it would be awful. I talked until I was thirsty, pushing open the door to head to the living room for water. I vaguely saw a dark figure slip into the room at the end of the hallway. Slender frame, petite figure. Could it be who I was thinking of? But wasn't the room at the end of the hallway Victor's? I was stupid. I was excited. I was about to drag my sister to eavesdrop. It's un-Chinese not to snoop on such juicy gossip. The camera in the hallway was even thoughtfully turned off by someone beforehand. I grinned wickedly, tiptoeing over and pressing my ear to the door. I flattened myself against it. A high-pitched female voice pierced my ears, accompanied by a man's growl. This. How are they already on the highway at 9 p.m.? My face flushed scarlet. My sister on the screen even had a face mask on and was holding fruit, her expression full of eager anticipation. I put on my earphones and her voice immediately rang out. Quick, let me listen. What are they doing? A single man and a single woman alone in a room? Could it be what I'm thinking? I nodded, giving a thumbs up. Oh my God, how bold. But fine, the two of them shouldn't go around harming others. It's good they're consuming each other internally. May these troublesome lovers last forever. I was in stitches, laughing at my sister when a hand suddenly clapped my shoulder. I jumped, startled. The newcomer quickly covered my mouth, revealing eyes just as beautiful in the dim light. Ethan leaned close. What are you listening to? So embarrassing. In the few minutes it took to drag me back to my room, I had thought of countless excuses. But when I actually faced him, I couldn't help but blurt out, "Listen to me explain, I'm really not a pervert." The sickly beautiful man just smiled, looking at me, making me unconsciously blush. I turned my head away awkwardly, trying to explain further to salvage my image. All right, I was just a little curious. Who knew they would do that in the room? I made a gesture of a defeated Korean man to express my innocence. Ethan curved his lips, his long lashes casting a small shadow. I felt a little awkward. Why are you just looking at me without saying anything? The man coughed twice. I apologize, I just find you truly adorable. His pleasant voice, combined with his handsome face, instantly sent an indescribable tremor through me. I swear, at that moment, I felt like I heard a steam engine erupting. My neck and the area behind my ears burned with embarrassment, slowly spreading to my cheeks, turning into a girlish blush. Even after he left, lying in bed, hazy with sleep, I was still dazed. Tonight, it seemed, would be a sleepless night. The next day, as expected, I sat eating breakfast outside the grass hut with huge dark circles under my eyes. Ivy, beside me, was full of radiant energy, looking like someone who had died and come back to life. One was a beautiful celebrity. I felt a bit envious. How could everyone have stayed up all night, yet their states were a world apart? I chewed a piece of fried dough stick in my mouth, distracted. Creak, creak. Why was there a sound above my head? I looked up in doubt. Then my pupils constricted. The largest central beam, directly above, had cracked in two. Lemongrass thatch was already raining down. The grass hut is about to collapse. Everyone was caught off guard. The staff screamed in panic, "Run, run!" But it was too late. I curled up, covering my head. Along with the falling beam came a warm embrace. Someone had pushed me to the ground. I heard the sound of wood hitting my back, heard Ivy's piercing scream, then a drop of blood fell onto the corner of my eye. It was flowing from Ethan's forehead. When I opened my eyes again, I was lying in a hospital bed, my head throbbing. My parents surrounded the bed. Seeing me awake, they anxiously asked, "Stella, do you feel uncomfortable anywhere? Do you want Mom to call the doctor?" I vaguely looked around at everyone. That face wasn't there. My hand gripped the blanket. I said in a hoarse voice, "Mom, where's Ethan? How is he?" The man was in another high-end private room, still unconscious. His pale face looked even more translucent in the sunlight. His head was wrapped in several layers of bandages, making him appear both fragile and beautiful. The doctor said he was fine, his health was already poor, and now he'd suffered a head injury leading to a concussion. He needed to rest for a while. I quietly stepped in, bowing my head beside the bed, looking at the man's sleeping face, my heart aching. What a fool. With such poor health, still trying to be a hero saving the beauty. Ethan, you big dummy. This accident caused a huge storm online, especially among Ivy and Victor's fans, who vehemently condemned and boycotted the show. When the director came to me, he even had cold sores at the corners of his mouth. He wrung his hands, looking at me, hoping I could post on Weibo to comfort the fans a bit. This was an urgent PR matter. I was still willing to do this kind of thing, so I agreed immediately. Then I saw the director take a deep breath and turn into the opposite private room. Immediately after, I heard Victor's arrogant voice. "Posting on Weibo is fine, but Director Lin, we're injured like this. We can't suffer undeservedly, can we?" "Of course not. How about this? Your compensation will be doubled as an apology from the production team. I'll draft the new contract later." "Do you take us for beggars? You think that much will shut us up?" Ivy's voice was high-pitched, dripping with contempt. My damned curiosity flared up again. Luckily, the door to the opposite room wasn't closed. I quietly leaned against my room's window, peeking. Victor, with his left hand in a cast, was holding Ivy's right hand, haughtily giving orders to the director. "Starlight is not short on money. How about this? You make Ivy and me permanent guests, and this matter is settled." Sure enough, I had still underestimated their shamelessness. Director Lin's face visibly flushed with anger. "No way. The number of permanent guests is already fixed. How can we just add more whenever we want?" "It's simple, just kick that sickly guy and Serena out. Victor is a runaway prince from the capital. With him, are you afraid the show won't have funds?" Ivy playfully fiddled with her nails, leaning coquettishly against the man. But I was also pushed in here by a big-shot investor. Looking at it this way, only Ethan, with no backing, is in danger. I was startled. I immediately messaged my sister on WeChat. "Sis, they want to steal our permanent guest spots." No way, could Ivy still be holding a grudge because I snatched her endorsement deal? How come I don't know about this? Didn't you brag to me? Never mind, it's not important. Go find someone to help me. My sister was good at networking and had wide connections. I hoped she could pull some big shot to help. Just as I put down my phone, the hospital room door opened. Ethan came in, carrying a cup of warm water. I was a little surprised. "You're awake." "Yes, I heard someone visited my room every day. Of course, I had to wake up a little earlier." He chuckled softly, lessening his frail appearance. I cautiously asked him, So did you hear anything?" Ethan lowered his head, his long lashes concealing the meaning in his eyes. He let out a dismissive chuckle. "Nothing to worry about." That afternoon, Fu Corporation and Starlight Entertainment successively reshared the production team's apology post, expressing gratitude for the program team's care for their young master and understanding for this accident. It was only then that everyone realized these two enterprises were actually one. The hot search immediately exploded. Even netizens jumped in to gossip. "No way, young Prince Victor Fu truly lives up to his reputation." Oh my god, what kind of novel plot is this? The official account also got involved. Even the young prince isn't fussing over it, other fans shouldn't make a big deal out of it. Fans are so proud, hahaha, my bio is young prince. Indeed, Victor was right. Behind him was truly Starlight Entertainment. Now that he had personally clarified, Director Lin must have capitulated. I buried my face in my hands, collapsing onto the bed. I started wondering if I could smoothly collect my breach of contract fee. The internet was a bustling mess, but the hospital room was peacefully quiet. I sneaked into Ethan's room. He was holding a book filled with densely packed foreign text. Seeing me, he very naturally pointed to an apple in the fruit basket and gently asked, "Do you want to eat? I'll peel it for you." I replied without ceremony and conveniently sat down beside him. Ethan's hands were beautiful, long, slender, and fair. When he exerted force, faint blue veins would appear on the back of his hand. The moment the perfectly peeled apple was handed to me, I smelled the sweet fragrance of the fruit, along with a faint, almost undetectable scent of traditional herbal medicine, Ethan's scent. I took the apple. As if possessed by an unknown force, I opened my mouth. "Ethan, I think I like you a little." He leaned closer to me, his beautiful eyes completely relaxed and sparkling. "Only a little? Looks like I'll have to try harder then." What followed was a light kiss on my forehead, but it landed right on my heart. My face flushed. I thought, at that moment, my face must have been as red as an apple peel. "Then, how much do you think our breach of contract fee will be? Is it too little? Can it support us? And my sister too?" Ethan silently listened to me ramble, finally stroking my head. "Don't worry, I'm here. There's no need to be afraid." Then I watched with wide eyes as Ethan dialed a number. It was also the first time this always gentle man revealed the demeanor of a superior in front of me. It was only then that I slowly realized Ethan was not simple after all. From then on, everything developed in a direction I never expected. First, Ivy posted on Weibo, publicly announcing her relationship with Victor Fu. Then, keywords related to Crown Princess quickly soared to the top. Ivy's fans began to gloat arrogantly, seizing the opportunity to attack rival young actresses. Unfortunately, my sister was the one who was most severely criticized. Next, marketing bloggers simultaneously uploaded videos of the confrontation between Victor Fu and Mr. Han. Both sides argued incessantly, each holding their own view. Victor Fu even personally joined the online war of words, and in an instant, his popularity skyrocketed. And just as Victor Fu was using the name of Runaway Prince from the capital to throw his weight around, the official account spoke up once again. Starlight Entertainment. Asterisk recently, a certain actor named Fu has used our company's name to disrupt online order and occupy public resources. Our company will send a lawyer's letter to Mr. Fu. We hope netizens will carefully distinguish online information. This post was immediately reshared by Fu Corporation. Fu Corporation, asterisk our young master is more handsome, okay. Below, they tagged the official account of the real young master. How coincidental that I knew this person. I gave a forced laugh, raising my phone in front of Ethan. Gritting my teeth, I asked, "Are you playing the true and false Monkey King game with me, young prince?" Ethan coughed lightly, pretending as if nothing had happened, and continued reading his book. He had learned my skill of playing dumb 10 out of 10 times. I glared at him harmlessly, biting the apple in my hand with a crunch. It was no exaggeration. The internet had turned into a chaotic mess. Exposed by the real owner and having long ridden the tiger's might, making countless enemies, Victor Fu instantly became everyone's target. Past variety show clips were continuously dug up. His arrogant, low EQ demeanor, disrespectful to seniors, instantly earned him universal contempt. Ivy's public relationship post was deleted immediately after the incident. Her studio was very cunning, seizing the opportunity to portray her as an innocent victim, but unfortunately, photos of her repeatedly entering and exiting Victor Fu's room were exposed. The conversation with Director Lin in the hospital room was also leaked. Her image as a pure and innocent beauty, the nation's first love, completely collapsed. These two are truly made for each other. Finally, someone said it. The people I've hated for so long have finally been exposed. It's true that you know a person's face, but not their heart. I used to really like Ivy Jiang. I scrolled through the comments enthusiastically and conveniently clicked on Ethan's Weibo. Good, very clean. Aside from an increase in followers, there was nothing else. I pouted but wasn't surprised. After all, he was just an ordinary person before, and this variety show was his first appearance. Wait a minute. An ordinary person participating in a popular Starlight show? It seemed I had overlooked something. I shot up, rushing to Ethan's front, forcing his face towards mine. "Ethan, who are you?" He looked into my eyes helplessly, his tone serious. "Stella, you are Stella Chu, so you secretly ran home and begged your sister to film a few episodes for you because of this. Someone just happened to see your stage performance when he was sick, then conveniently watched all our materials. What's there to be embarrassed about?" My sister squatted on the ground, helplessly packing her luggage. I buried my face in a pillow, my voice muffled. "It's like a sassing fan, I feel so weird." She gave me a blank look, not at all polite, and asked for details. I stammered. Ethan's gentle voice seemed to echo in my ears. "I have a congenital heart condition. I've had to recuperate since childhood, until one time I accidentally saw your stage performance. In a red dress, you were like a vibrant, blooming rose. For the first time, I was interested in a girl. I watched many of your videos in the hospital room, so after a successful surgery, I took over Starlight and wanted to invest in you. Your general manager, Lee, knowing the situation, told me the secret about you two being twin sisters." I looked up, leaning back on the sofa. So Ethan specifically requested me to participate, and he also joined the filming himself. My sister stared at my face, a knowing smile playing on her lips. I felt goosebumps from her gaze, then heard her slowly say, "Someone said they were shy, but in reality, they just wanted to see if their crush could distinguish them." I didn't deny it. My sister and I debuted together, but I usually only appeared for stage performances, or at most, backstage interviews. My sister was the channel for fans to understand Serena Chu's personality. I wanted to know if he liked the Serena Chu on stage or the entire Serena Chu. Before leaving, my sister patted my head. "Don't worry, I'll vet him thoroughly for you. Who cares if he's a young prince? We've earned quite a bit these past few years anyway. Are men with two legs so rare?" I was so touched, tears welled up. "Then, sis, when you come back, don't forget to buy Mrs. Wang's fried dried fish for me." Mrs. Wang was the original owner's neighbor. She made delicious fried dried fish. Every time she made it, she'd share some with me and Ethan. I really liked it. My sister didn't bother with me anymore and drove off. This filming was the first time the production team had started working after giving us a break. The previous incident had made the show even more popular on existing platforms. The first episode was about to air. With nothing to do at home, I watched the variety show. The production team really knew how to create buzz. The first episode deliberately lingered on the scene of Ethan and my first meeting. In the frame, the young girl frowned, staring at her white shoes. Beside her, a large dog stood up, howling at the man. The tall, straight figure slowly walked down the slope, stopping in front of the girl. Then, under the hazy mountain light, accompanied by melodious background music, the two looked at each other, creating a unique atmosphere. The army of Fujoshi online immediately caught a whiff of something. A super topic was quickly created. I secretly infiltrated it to gossip with them. I have to say, netizens' eyes are truly like microscopes. Even the smallest details could be scrutinized and analyzed by them. As a result, when my sister returned home after filming 2 episodes, what she saw were my panda eyes. She jumped, startled. "Were you stealing things at night?" I awkwardly turned off my phone screen, embarrassed to tell her that I had been staying up late reading fan fiction. After all, the trope of a Beijing princeling and a female celebrity was very easy to write. In just a few short days, I had followed several popular authors. I changed the subject, taking my sister's hand and coaxing, "Sis, how was your filming these past few days?" She lightly flicked my forehead, then poured herself a glass of water, a knowing look on her face. "I can only say he's barely qualified to be your brother-in-law. Serena seems a little different." Ethan glanced at the girl, smiling sweetly in the distance, but couldn't quite pinpoint what was different. My sister and I were very accustomed to impersonating each other, so she very naturally ran towards him, her tone intimate. "Ethan, did you miss me at all these past few days?" The man's gaze silently swept from her eyebrows to her tear mole, then to her plump red lips. All were the familiar features of the person he loved. But for some reason, Ethan swallowed the two words, missed you, that were about to come out. He just nodded silently. My sister raised an eyebrow, amused, observing him. Tall and good-tempered, just a little thin. His face is also pale. Looks like my taste hasn't changed all these years. I still like this scholarly, pale-faced type. The two of them, each lost in their own thoughts, continued until Mr. Hand's voice echoed from afar. Ethan, Serena, time to eat. Ethan suppressed the unusual feeling in his heart, gently saying, let's go eat. Delicious food, humorous seniors, my sister ate her fill. While clearing the dishes, she even hummed a tune. Ethan stood beside her, helping her. My sister intentionally struck up a few more conversations with him, but received only bland replies, not distant, but not intimate either. This lukewarm state continued until the end of the filming. As they were parting ways, Ethan unexpectedly called out to my sister. He handed a bag of crispy fried dried anchovies to my sister's assistant, his tone as gentle as ever. Serena, please give this to Stella, okay? My sister's eyes widened in surprise. After a moment, she asked, how did you find out? Ethan's lips curved slightly. My sister didn't expect him to have such a reason and was momentarily stunned. Ethan politely nodded, adding the last sentence, remember, Serena, tell Stella that I miss her very much. Listening to my sister recount it, my face flushed, my heart pounding erratically. Oh no, I think I've completely fallen into his net. Due to the unique nature of our professions, Ethan and I became online friends, only meeting again in person during the final episode of the variety show. As per tradition, the final episode couldn't lack a sweet and emotional segment. All the permanent guests sat together, sharing their thoughts, mainly about their yearning for a peaceful life. Only Ethan, when it was his turn to speak, looked directly at me and said, I only came to this show for one person. I blushed amidst everyone's cheers. Mr. Hand suddenly nudged Ethan. Come on, give her a hug, you big dummy. So I buried myself in his arms, smelling the familiar scent of traditional herbs. Looking up, I saw the man's reddened ears. Aren't you going to say anything to me? Ethan stiffened, holding me tighter. His heartbeat, now strong after recovering from his illness, echoed clearly in my ears. Every time my heart beats strongly after getting well, it's because of you. That's more genuine than words. Stella, I love you. I hugged him back, me too. The show ended, but our story had only just begun. Afterwards, I completed my Asia tour as an idol and won quite a few awards. At my final performance, I announced my career transition. My sister embarked on an acting career, gradually shining brightly. Serena Chu, with a brand new appearance, appeared before more and more audiences. And Stella Chu removed her mask, fulfilling her original wish to become a dance teacher. The sunset was beautiful, and we were just right.